Hey folks, Madcat here from The Balcony Show. Now, if you haven't heard about Anchor, well then I gotta tell you, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. First, it's free. And who the hell doesn't love free? I know I do. I mean, come on. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or your computer. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. And talk about doing the legwork. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you, so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. So, download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Cheers and be well, and keep listening to us right here on The Balcony Show. Coming to you from the top of the Poconos, it's The Balcony Show with your host, Ann Thatcher, Bo Sommer, and me, the Madcat. We have searched the globe for the best in indie music, so you don't have to. So here we go, The Balcony Show.
And here we go. We're in studio. We're here. We're just so excited.
I'm not gonna lie, for like a hot second there, I totally thought you were gonna mock my tone in that opening.
Nope. See, I didn't.
That's amazing.
But I was thinking about it. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I totally sensed it with the way you started. Here we go. And I'm like,
Busted.
Yeah.
So, very excited today for today's show. We have Province of Thieves, who is our ReverbNation first selection from our campaign, our ongoing campaign.
Yeah.
So this is setting the bar, I think, a little high. You know, if you want to get on the show, that's the way to do it right now. Kind of like that's the only way you're going to do it is to go through our ReverbNation campaign because the end of the year is fast approaching.
Yeah.
So
it is too, man. This year just like kind of flew.
A lot quicker than I thought it would, honestly.
I'm not a fan. You know what? I think that means I'm just doing too many things. I got to go back to doing nothing and slacking.
But first,
useless facts. Facts that don't mean useless facts. Facts that are freaking useless. And so here we are on today's useless facts. Let's see. Useless fact number 1. We're just going to get right into it, folks. Useless fact number 1. Your stomach has to produce a new layer of mucus every 2 weeks, otherwise it will digest itself.
Can we lose weight that way?
You know what I mean? Like, I'd like to digest some of myself right now. I think I got pieces of myself that have been laying around in there since 1985.
yeah, no, see? So my thing
wild.
is, where does that mucus go?
Ew, I don't know.
I guess it would just... because of the... I'm going to talk like I know stuff now, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I mean, you have acid in your stomach, so you'd have to assume that it would eat away at it over time.
Crazy.
So your body has to replace that.
Thank you, Dr. Madcat.
That's just a logical deduction
Go
on
see
my
the
behalf.
doctor, Dr. Madcat.
That's because of that doobie I smoked in 5th grade. You know when everything just makes sense. Yo, man.
Or it's as
all
simple
coming
as
together.
it just comes out of your poo-coo ka-choo.
Well, that's a fine thought.
Poo-coo-ka-choo.
And on to useless fact number 2. Useless fact number 2. More people are killed annually by donkeys than airplane crashes.
Did you know that?
There's a reason they're called an ass.
But I did not know that donkeys were I never thought of them as killers.
They're stubborn and they're fast with the feet.
Yeah.
Seriously, I mean,
Yeah.
I've been around donkeys before. It's not like I don't know what they are, but I just never looked at them and thought, serial killer. I mean, what?
Yeah, no. We had a couple donkeys. I mean, we were fortunate. We had many donkeys who were really good, but when we would be out there in the donkey hunting, you know, looking to find a donkey to keep in our petting zoo or we found a lot of them that were some pretty violent, stubborn little bastards.
We had one that loved sugar babies. Remember
Yeah.
the candy sugar
Oh,
babies
yeah.
with the? All he had to do was see a piece of yellow in your shirt pocket.
Oh yeah.
Oh no, it was on, man.
Aw,
He would
they're
come from
so
around
cute.
the. Yeah, he'd come from around, wherever he was. If you walked up to that fence and you had a white or that yellow thing,
Yeah.
he saw that and he was there. I mean, you know, and
That's
it takes
cute.
a lot to move an ass like that.
Yeah.
We had plenty of horses that like. I mean, if they saw that you just had a
And
shirt
chewing
pocket,
tobacco.
Yeah.
Loved the chewing tobacco. too.
Wow.
And that's what these horses would. This particular horse would do. Like, you know, he didn't know if you had tobacco in there or not. He saw the pocket, which would customarily house the tobacco that he would get, and he would just go rip the pockets right off. If you had a pocket, going. Welcome back. All right, useless fact number 3. Crocodiles and alligators are surprisingly fast on land. Although they are rapid, they are not agile. So if being chased by one, run in a zigzag line to lose him or her.
I had this vision of you when I read this, of the Madcat like running back and forth with a crocodile. I
Let me
mean,
tell
that could
you
be really
something.
funny.
Let me tell you something.
Can we make a clip up? Or, you know, you're
I
an
wonder
actor.
if-
That would be really funny.
The Madcat.
How to avoid a
Yeah.
crocodile short.
You certainly don't learn anything from watching Saturday morning cartoons. That's for sure. When I was a young Madcat, I had gone into my aunt's one barn and I did not realize that her Dalmatian had just had pups. So, oh my God, I had to be like maybe 7 or 8. I mean, hell, I was so dumb. I might have been 15 now. But we sit there. So she comes. You know, Samantha was the name of the dog. It weirds me out when dogs have human names. You know, it's like,
Yeah,
hi,
I
Bob.
agree.
Hi, Bob. Are you wagging your tail today? But Samantha comes.
I love real boy names for dogs.
It's just so weird.
No.
Oh yeah, I think it's hilarious because you're outside, like back door open. You know, Timmy, get in here.
That just sounds sad.
No.
My dog's name is Tim. I don't
Timmy.
get it.
No.
So anyways-
Name your dog Sit
Bobby.
and stay.
Bobby, get in here.
I start running from the dog, okay? And so as I'm running from the dog, the Bugs Bunny cartoon I had just watched only an hour ago about where he's freaking out running from a bear and he drops and plays dead and the bear sniffs him and goes away, okay? This made sense in my head and I decided to
Oh,
apply
no.
it to the dog. So I dropped and played dead. Dog did not go away.
No.
Dog took right into my leg. It was good.
You know what's worse than
Yeah,
that?
your uncle who was a Vietnam vet walking up, sticking his finger right in the dog bite hole, saying, "Does that hurt?" That's worse.
Now, you know, I did that. Somebody, went in to feed a sow pigs,
No, yeah.
and she had just given birth.
They can be mean. They can be mean.
Yeah, I did a swan dive followed by a front layout out of that. I had never heard anything scream like that in my entire life.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's almost like a banshee scream when they scream like that. A pig. It's never forget it, and never forget how fast I moved either. So
You have to. A lot of people don't take into account for exactly how fast pigs can move.
oh.
You know, they may be, but they like take off like rockets. Okay. Useless fact number 4. Let's just get on with this. Boy, we're long-winded today.
We are.
So, yes, number 4. Count the number of cricket chirps in a 15-second period. Add 37 to the total, and your result will be very close to the actual outdoor Fahrenheit temperature. Get the hell out of here.
Did you know that? I did not know that.
I can't buy that. Find me a cricket.
It's facts. But
That's really cool.
that's
Well, I
cool
gotta
to
try
know.
that,
It's
yeah.
cool to know. So we're going to put that to the test, I think.
Okay. Well, let me know what your results are.
Okay.
So, where are we at here? Useless fact number 5. In 1778, fashionable women of Paris never went out in blustery weather without a lightning rod attached to their hats. Why, gee, Margaret, you're sporting a rather fine lightning rod today.
Can you imagine?
Why?
I have
They did
no.
a lot
What
of
a
weird
cra-
stuff
yeah.
back then, man. It's like,
Well, I mean, could you do a lightning storm? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'd just like to stand on the street and watch.
You know, and I
That would be a spectator sport
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah.
I think that's the funny thing is that people sit there and they malign social media with all its non-truths and BS and stuff like that. Like humanity has never dealt with this stuff, but you consider that stuff throughout the like the Victorian era and all that stuff. In the world of
There's
invention,
a lot of crazy stuff.
There were dudes out there just hammering two things together. Oh, this will cure this. I mean, the water diviner thingy. You know what I mean? You had stuff like that, but you were able to sell that stuff to these people because, well, they didn't know. You know what I mean?
Well, ignorance is bliss.
Yeah.
So there you have it.
I'm saying.
Anyways, thanks, Madcat, for the useless facts, and we're going to get things started with a song from Strawman and the Jackdaws, and the name of the song is "Knock on Wood." I did it! I did it! All right, we'll be right back with the rest of the show.
Tiptoes to keep quiet, oh. Hop on one foot on the river stones. Leave valleys behind you, they see the pipeline. Come on, count all the pebbles stuck on your shoes, oh. Fall for all these words you're fighting for. Get up again, I'm never tired of life. The trick is not to show it. It's better than the sun. Then go back home with red eyes or red as foxes are. Asking for advice to someone beyond the sky. With no reply, tell yourself a lie. That's fine for now, but no convo. Tiptoes to keep quiet, oh. Careful, don't sleep on the river stones. Afraid of losing the sense of fear now. Come hear the chirping of thousand summers. The rain is falling to beat the time. Look out the tops of stumbling hikers. They say you reap what you sow. It's better than the sun. Then go back home with red eyes or red as foxes are. Asking for advice to someone beyond the sky. With no reply, tell yourself a lie. Then go back home with pale face. It's better than the sun. For advice to someone beyond the sky. With no reply, tell yourself a lie. That's fine for now, but no convo. No convo. No convo. No convo. It's fine for now, but knock on.
And we are back on the Balcony Show, and right now we have the song Whiskey Saved the World by Province of Thieves. And when we come back, we're going to have Brad Davidson on the line to tell us about how whiskey saved the world. Because I know whiskey certainly wrecked my world a few times. So here we go. Sit down, give it a listen. La la la.
night at Moochie's bar when I saw a light up in the sky approaching from afar. It made another worldly sound as it coasted to a halt and hovered right above my head and froze me to the spot. Well, a light beamed down and there appeared a creature green and tall. And when it talked, its words took on a decent southern drawl. See, it spoke into this shiny box with a tiny booming speaker that translated what it said into, "Take me to y'all's leader." Well, since I weren't on speaking terms with the current president, those letters from the FBI had instructed me to quit. And last I tried, I was denied a word with the governor. I turned around and led that thing straight back to Moochie's bar. If I had been sober, if I hadn't hit the sauce, things might have turned out different and the earth might have been lost. You may not believe me, I'll admit it sounds absurd, but I swear to God we're all still here 'cause whiskey saved the world. When we got there, all that remained were 5 or 10 diehards gathered round the table for a drunken game of cards. They all looked up through bloodshot eyes and slowly hung their heads, except the man we'd come to see, and I pointed right at Jed. Well, he looked that creature up and down and gave a friendly wink, gestured to an empty chair, said, "Friend, let's have a drink." That alien looked first at me and then gave Jed a stare, then crossed the room, ducked a ceiling fan, and slid into the chair. Well, that thing made funny noises, and the box said, "You in charge? Well, I'm here to set surrender terms. This planet will be ours." Old Jed leaned in and with a laugh said, "Here's the deal, all right? If you can hold more liquor than me, we won't put up a fight." If he'd thought it over, if he'd been more self-aware, he might have thought it odd there weren't no earthling in that chair. You may have your doubts that what I'm telling you occurred, but on my grave I swear it's true. Whiskey saves the world. The owner and proprietor was hid behind the bar, so Jed reached in a duffel bag and produced a mason jar. As he unscrewed the lid, he said, "Now, since you are our guest, it's tradition here on earth that we only share our best." Well, he wiped a couple glasses clean with the corner of his shirt, filled each to the brim. Just the sight made my head hurt. He slid one across the table and put the other to his lips, and downed it as that alien took a tentative first sip. Now, getting that first swallow down is a matter of pure will, and I watched as that green alien turn greener even still. But to its credit, it wasn't until halfway through glass 8 that it said in slurred alienese, "Y'all can keep this place." If it hadn't preconceived that humans would be weak, the end result would surely have been quite a bit more bleak. I know what you're thinking, you're assuming I'm disturbed, but I'm sane as you and it's the truth. Whiskey saves the world. The next afternoon when I got up, I turned on Channel 9, and on the news they told us of a most peculiar night. Seems this light from space had flown in straight, so witnesses described, then left a couple hours later, swerving across the sky. If we'd all been sober, if we hadn't hit the sauce, things might have turned out different and the earth might have been lost. You may not believe me, I'll admit it sounds absurd, but that's the plain and honest truth, how whiskey saves the world. Yes, that's the truth, so help me God. Whiskey saved the world. At least that's how I remember it. Yep, whiskey saved the world.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the balcony, and we are very excited because we have our first ReverbNation selection from our recent campaign, and the name of the band is Province of Thieves, and we have the lead singer, vocals, ukulele, and I don't know how to say that instrument, a bazooka,
Irish bouzouki.
a bouzouki. Yeah, I don't even know what a bouzouki is. It sounded a little dirty to me, to be honest.
Wow. Gee, what a surprise. Something sounded dirty to Ann.
Wow.
Brad, meet Ann.
But anyways,
That's the first there.
we just heard your song, Whiskey Save the World, which is a fan favorite, I hear. So you want to tell our listeners something about this song? Although I think it's pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah, well, it's totally true story, of course. So,
Oh, sure.
yeah, that's one that again, we're, as you can probably tell from the music, we fall into the modern folk category. But and you mentioned I was the lead singer. I'm actually one of 3 lead singers, but so we've got 3 songwriters, and we mix things up. So there's a lot of different influences that come in. But I had this hankering to do a story song at one point, and somehow or another, the idea of saving the world with a drinking contest came to mind, as such ideas do, of course. So yeah, it was like I know Greg was a little skeptical when I first brought Greg Moore, my partner, Grant. He was a little skeptical when I told him I was going to write a song about that. I was like, but
And you guys have been together for a long time. I mean, you and Greg have been friends for a long time.
Yeah, Greg for a couple decades now. We actually started playing together for a church service back in 2005, and when that petered out a few years later, we started up Province of Thieves. So,
All I gotta say is I noticed on your website there's 2012. You know, you were really good until like 2019, 2020. Forget it. 2020 isn't even, and you're just like too done with 2020. 2021 is just over too.
It's been an interesting couple of years. Like, well, we've kind of gone back into creative mode. So you mentioned keeping the music going. We've got another album in the works right now. So we've been trying to use the time wisely and still playing a few shows here and there. So.
But it just gave me kind of a chuckle because it really is representation of what a lot of people are going through right now.
Yeah.
You know, which brings me to Weight of Sky, which is a totally different animal.
Right.
I really, I know what I think Weight of Sky is about, but would you give our listeners some kind of
Well, one of the questions that we get asked a lot is like, where did the songs come from? And I really never have a good answer because they all kind of evolved differently. So that particular song was, it came about through some experimentation with the guitar and some different capos I was playing around with. And it was a chord progression, really. It was just sort of it all came together. The music came first, essentially, in that case. And I really didn't have lyrics for months, probably. I just kept playing that music over and over again. And it just started forming. It started forming the imagery. And so the whole song really is just purely imagery. It revolves around a bird flying very high in the sky. And so Weight of the Sky basically was just trying to look at things through the eyes of a bird, noticing the curve of the earth and not really understanding why it is the way it is. So that was kind of where
I
it
would have
came
never.
from.
Yeah. No. See.
Yeah.
That's actually fantastic. I like that.
Yeah, that's really cool. Never would have thought that. Boy. Yeah. No.
Well, Greg likes to tell me the best lyrics are the ones that you can't explain exactly what they mean.
That's true.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's like universal interpretation.
Right.
Whatever you interpret it as is okay. Yeah, that's it.
So there are 6 of you in this band.
Correct.
That's a lot of musicians moving around.
Yeah,
You know?
it's grown a lot. I mean, like I said, Greg and I started this nine years ago now, and then we added Steve Allen on the banjo and guitar and vocals as well. So we entered into three-part harmony territory around 2014. Did that for about a year. Started preparing for the Laverna album that Weight of the Sky was on, and it was that fall before we recorded the album. We found our upright bass player, Parker Foley. He brought in our percussionist, and we were a 5-man band for a couple of years. And then when we did the last album, Weight of the Sky, that's where we found our fiddle player. So it just kind of grew very organically over the years. We just kept adding a bit here and a bit there.
Yeah, I love the blend of. I love how you have managed to achieve this really great blend of vocals, harmony, and then the music. There's a really great balance in your music, I have to say.
Well, thank you.
You know what I mean? Like, the music doesn't overtake the vocals, and my man Madcat here, he loves lyrics, so.
I like lyrics, sound, harmony, balance.
Well, like I said, some of the lyrics are a lot easier to understand than others, but
Yeah.
a little something for everybody. But yeah, we really focused on the harmony vocals were one of the key things. We were actually a little surprised when we started. Again, it was just 2-part harmony, and then when we went to 3, obviously it took it to another level. But we were always surprised that people would react so much to that. And I have a theory that it's because of shows like American Idol and The Voice. Everyone just thinks it's about this big solo singer, but the harmonies are just a lot more interesting to me.
Oh, absolutely.
I actually sang in an a cappella group in college, so of course I had that kind of ingrained in me before we ever got to folk band territory. So,
All right, well, listen, we're going to take a short break here and let our listeners hear Weight of Sky by the Province of Thieves, and we'll be right back with Brad.
Fly low, no sound, never touch the ground. Whoa. Rise up, roaring loud, wet from the clouds. Whoa. Every direction, ever bending, on the sea or on dry land. Miles and miles it turns unending, and yet despite how grand, collapses neath the weight of the sky. Downhill, ever drops, returning to the top. Whoa. Stretching out to the east and the west. Oh, it never rests. Neath the weight of the sky. Watching you turn away, watching you turn watching you turn away. Every direction ever bending, on the sea or on dry land, miles and miles and turns unending, and yet despite how grand, collapses beneath the weight of the sky. Collapses beneath the weight of the sky.
There, Brad.
Okay.
And we are back on the Balcony Show. We have Brad Davidson from Province of Thieves on here. What a fantastic interview. That was the song Weight of the Sky. Fantastic song. So, Brad, since these, we've already been discussing earlier on about how crazy the world's been lately, So what do you got as far as shows coming up here in the near future?
We've actually, interestingly enough, we've got a couple of festivals coming up. Although the festivals seem to be the ones that are a little more tentative these days. We had a really big one for Labor Day weekend that got canceled at the last minute. But so far, we've got 4 shows coming up at the beginning of October, the first 2 weekends of October, all outdoor and more festival oriented. So we're hoping those go off well and are no issues. But we've definitely been enjoying getting out and playing again after being dormant for so long. It's been a little tough not being able to perform.
Yeah, no doubt. I can imagine. I'd feel a little claustrophobic to me after a while.
Oh, yeah.
And I got to say, it's got to be tough for that one woman that's amongst all of you guys. I feel her pain.
Or that could go the other way, and it could be very good.
Yeah. Well, we actually have 2 women, the percussionist and our fiddle player. So yeah, but we keep them on their toes, no question.
Or is it the other way around?
Well, there's that too.
See?
I like to think it one way, and they like to think it the other.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Feels Like That is your next song. And this is the song that got you this wonderful interview, Brad.
And I didn't even write it.
But Feels Like That is about love, I think. It's just a really great, it's a feel-good song. Not to be kitschy, but yeah, I really like it. I love the beat. It's up, you know what I mean? And you can roll down the highway and it feels like that.
Yeah, that one is that's one of Greg Moore's songs. He wrote that one, and yeah, a lot of his inspirations come from family experiences, and that's one. It's a lot about his childhood. I mean, you'll catch the section talking about spending time in his grandmother's house. And
it's really a great song.
So yeah, he writes some really good stuff. So we were excited to play that. I especially like that one. Going back to my Irish bouzouki, our producer came up with the plan of letting me do that little jangly sound in there that sounds like a funk guitar. That's actually an Irish bouzouki, oddly enough. So that was kind of fun to get to try to take a folk instrument and do something a little funkier with it. So, but yeah, it's a fantastic song. Greg did an excellent job with that one.
Well, I think you all add everything to it. You know what I mean? Like somebody may start something, it appears to me, I don't know. And it seems like everybody kind of adds their own stuff to it, and that's what makes it so rich.
I mean, there's an alchemy there, no question. I mean, it's, if it was just me doing my own thing, or Greg or Steve or any of them, it would kind of have a rather singular sound to it. But you mix all the pieces together, and if you can find that balance like you're talking about, then you can find some. And again, not everything we work on gels quite like that. So,
well, I think Weight of Sky, the whole entire EP is a ride. You know what I mean? Not one song is the same. It really is. Kind of like a trip. You know what I mean? Like every song is different, and I like that. I like that when you bring different flavors to the table, so to speak. So.
It's something that we really strive for, honestly, because you hear a lot of music and you get these great sounds, and then unfortunately, there's sometimes you're listening through an album and the songs kind of start sounding the same. So
right, not the case here.
we definitely try to leverage the fact that we've got 3 different songwriters, that we've got so many different instrument combinations, different lead singers. So, and then of course just bringing different styles to the table and intentionally trying to choose the songs that are going to complement each other without just sounding repetitive. So.
Well, listen, Brad, I want to thank you so much and congratulations for making it on our show, because we're really excited to get our listeners to hear your music, and that's what we do.
Really
we support.
You guys are awesome. This is an amazing thing for us. So thank you so much.
Well, thank you. And with that, I got to ask the final question, which is, tell me something about Brad Davidson that not everybody would know.
Oh my God! See, when people ask me that, usually I say I'm in a band, but you already know that now. Let's see, something about me. I'm well, actually, one of the things I have always hoped to do is write novels. So prior to getting into the band, I actually spent a lot of time, doing creative writing in that sense. So I think a lot of that actually feeds into the songwriting, and it's why you get why my lyrics kind of take on the flavor that they do. But yeah, with any luck, I'll be a novelist.
I get it now. Whiskey saved the world. I totally get it.
No problem. We gotcha. Well, listen, thank you so much for taking some time and being on the show. And again, congratulations on your ReverbNation win. We're going to go out with Feels Like That, which is what got them on the show, by the Province of Thieves. Go to their website, provinceofthieves.com. Download their stuff. You're going to want this for your playlist, folks. I guarantee it.
What shape the pegs are in, you always seem to make them fit the holes that they go in. And all the traffic lights turn green right on time. You're headed to the DMV and there's nobody in line. It kinda feels like that. It kinda feels like that. When you bring the love, it kinda feels like that. Didn't even have to ask. Boss man raised your pay. It doesn't matter what you post, we all agree with what you say. That day you should have gone to work, instead built pillow forts. I don't play the lotto, but I found $10 in my shorts. It kinda feels like that. It kinda feels like that. When you bring the love, it kinda feels like that. It kinda feels like that. It kinda feels like that. When you bring your love, it kinda feels like that. Those days when I see the best of you, and it's easy just to let your love shine through. Maybe even when it isn't going your way, your love is just enough to save the day. Well, your love is just enough to save the day. Well, my granny used to live in that duplex on Hawthorne Lane. The cousins would all gather and we'd play this little game. My granny, she would yell at us for jumping on her beds, but we wouldn't hear a word for singing this stupid song instead. Catch that boogie and the boogie and the beat. Catch that boogie and the boogie and the beat. Catch that boogie and the boogie and the beat. Catch that boogie and the boogie. It kinda feels like that. It kinda feels like that. When you bring your love, it kinda feels like that. It kinda feels like that. It kinda feels like that. Oh, when you get your love, it kinda feels like that. Well, I told y'all that I'd put that in a song one day.
And now it's time for Indie Radar with Bo Sommer.
Welcome back to Indie Radar. This week on The Balcony Show, we have a very special guest, actually a returning guest, Larry Dvoskin, who's going to give us a quick little lesson about non-fungible tokens, NFTs. And it seems like, Larry, a few months ago, I had done an Indie Radar about NFTs, and I just started learning about them. I saw something in some industry email notification, and I started reading up on it. I'm still not able to quite wrap my head around exactly what it is and how can it benefit indie artists, or can it, can you help us navigate exactly what NFTs are? How is it affecting the music industry? And I know it goes beyond the music industry. I think I just saw something on the news yesterday that Tiger Woods is getting involved with NFTs. So go figure.
Yes, well, thank you. I'm actually have recently taken on a role as Vice President of Strategic Projects for a company called NFT Oasis, which is doing exactly this. So you've come to the right place. And if I could simplify it for everyone, when you, let's say, buy a piece of art, let's say there's an auction at Christie's, you get a certificate that says, this is actually the thing that is real. It was created by this person, and you are the sole owner of this particular piece of work. So all that an NFT is, if I really boil it down to its simplest terms, is a digital certificate of ownership.
Okay.
Now, NFTs could be one-off thing, like you buy a Picasso and you're the only owner, or it could be a series of things like artists have done before, where they paint a whole sort of limited edition of things, like Andy Warhol's soup cans. They're all different colors and different people own different versions. But what the NFT is it's a digital certificate of ownership that is on a technology called blockchain. And what blockchain is a link of computers that all verify each other that your transaction is real, and it creates a record that can't be erased. And it's a little different than what we have now with most tech companies and most of the things we use online that are hackable. And it's a little different type of technology that's much harder to hack, much harder to fake, because it creates this long record of authenticity. So what people have started doing is they've started first with little art and little kind of cute pictures of punks and apes and penguins and things, and they've been putting them up online for sale. And what it does is it creates a community. Like, people have been rallying around these things and finding a kind of a gold rush. And like all gold rushes, it has its moments where it's like, stick your pick in the ground and you hit a piece of gold. And so this may come, may go in waves, but the idea of NFT is here to stay. And here's how it benefits music artists, and it can really help, is that right now the gatekeepers of the music business, the record labels, Spotify, things like that, are so, it's like a traffic jam. There's so much traffic on them. 40,000 songs a day come on Spotify.
Wow.
So people have been, for instance, being discovered for years on other alternative things. People have been discovered from YouTube. People have been now discovered from TikTok. There are people who were early adopters on TikTok, and suddenly they have 20 million fans and followers. And the record companies then come knocking and say, hey, Madison Beer, hey, this person, that person, why don't you do a song? Why don't we do a record deal? Because you already have an audience to buy it. So NFTs are what's called the bleeding edge of technology, in that people who are now getting into it will potentially be next year or the year after Grammy nominees. So it's an incredible thing that is just at its very beginning. And the thing about this accelerated technology we're having now is that the people who are early adopters, people who got into Instagram first, became Instagram stars. And by the time, for instance, with me, by the time I got to Instagram, it was millions and millions of people. And I'm like waving from the back of the room saying, hey, what about me? But right now in the NFT world, it's a wild west, and anybody can start creating their NFTs on, a host of different platforms.
So how do you start?
So how do you start is there's, if it's okay, I'm going to mention a couple of names of a couple of websites for your listeners to check out that are the legitimate ones. They're not nothing scammy, but they're the big ones. There is obviously a website called OpenSea, as in the ocean, SEA.io, as in Iowa, Oregon, OpenSea.io. They had $1 billion worth of NFT transactions last month, in the month of August.
Wow.
That's big freaking business. $1 billion worth of NFTs traded hands on OpenSea in 1 month alone. Now, the record business is only in total like maybe a $3 or $4 billion a year industry worldwide. So a website just selling NFTs that's almost 25 to 30% of that is a big, big thing to take a look at. There's another website that's called One Of, as if like this is the only one, oneof.com. They raised $66 million. Quincy Jones is a sort of mentor backer of it. I bought an NFT by the artist Doja Cat, and I think Billie Eilish now has an NFT on One Of, and it's geared more toward music makers and music creators. And right now they're, to roll it out, to get the attention and the press and the notoriety, they're rolling out the big names like Billie Eilish, but soon their model is to let everybody in, to let the average independent artist, the person trying to get noticed or even make a living from their music. And what they'll do is they'll help you. They have, tutorials and they have instructions. So you can go and sign up like you sign up to any website, and they'll show you how to take one of your pieces of music and put it online, and then what's called minting, which is where you take it from an MP3 or a WAV file and you turn it into this digital asset, and then you set the price. And the price is actually in cryptocurrency. It could be Ethereum or Bitcoin or Tezos or Polygon. Now, all of these weird sounding names are assets that are traded like gold or silver that are actually worth billions of dollars in total. And what NFTs have done have given them a reason to exist. Up until now, people talk about Bitcoin, and they say, oh, scammers use it, and this or that. And it was really just something that was intended to be like the euro or the dollar or the yen. But it just turned out to be a way to make money. I bought Bitcoin almost a year ago when it was at $9,000 a coin, and I could just say I'm going to buy $100 worth. It's at $43,000 today.
Wow!
So,
oh my goodness!
And it's down. And $43,000 is down.
Right.
So just imagine if I bought that. Let's say I put $1 million into Bitcoin a year ago, it would be worth $4,300,000 today. So that's good eating, as they say.
Yeah.
So so it's attracted a lot of people to invest because you're making so much more money. But at the same time, there hasn't been a real use case for it until NFTs came along.
Right.
And the wonderful thing about it for musicians is that NFTs are just pieces of digital content. It could be a video by an NFL player. It could be a shot that Tiger Woods did that helped him win
Right.
a tournament. It could be, anything.
Thanks so much, Larry, for joining us this week. Catch Indie Radar with Larry Dvoskin Part 2 to learn a little bit more about NFTs next week.
Madcat's Mad Tracks.
Oh, yeah. And on today's Mad Cat's Mad Tracks, right now we have the new song from Kind Hearted Thieves, The Way We Fall. We interviewed this guy a few months back. Fantastic guy, Jamie Ramsden. So, here we go. The Way We Fall, Kind Hearted Thieves.
And I will not fall to kneel before you. And I hear your call through it all. This is the way we fall. In the night, you are weak and questioning love. So take this time from me, don't drink from my cup. The light bends as it breaks, your love too bitter to taste. Send it to me, your faith so fickle. Scarlet lips in the moon whispering blood. I aim to speak too soon, my face in the mud. The light bends as it breaks, your love too bitter to taste. Send it to me, your faith so fickle. And I will not fall to kneel before you. And I hear your call through it all. This is the way we fall. There's a whisper of truth on your lips, but it stands amongst villains. In the light of your judgment, I'm frozen. The blood dark on my feet, empathy distant and weak. Send it to me, your faith so fickle. And I will not fall to kneel before you. And I hear your call through it all. This is the way we fall.
I believe that if we're honest with ourselves, the greatest war of life is that of the self. The most fascinating problem in this world is, who am I? What is I? Me? I have come to the conclusion that what most civilized people mean by that word is our nation.
And I will not
you're back on the Balcony Show, and we've come to another fabulous end of another great show here. Folk, Americana, you name it, we got it this show.
And he was a fantastic interview. He was a good guy.
Well, I can't stress enough how much I love music. Music, but human music. Actual music that's made with your hands.
Humans?
And then,
yeah.
Well, instrumentation, I should say. I want to hear the instruments. I want to hear the vocals. I want to,
I get it.
I like that so much better than some of the stuff that's being presented today.
As soon as you said human music, though, I started immediately thinking of the cricket. I mean, they
that could be music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is. I mean, they do have a kind of natural rhythmic kind of thingamadoohickey going on there. And apparently it has something to do with the Fahrenheit, too. If you had
well, listen, I'm not going to let you two bug me.
Oh,
I so got that.
You're on fire today.
I am. Just call me Fire Thatcher. Anyways, I'm going to get us out of here, and I want to say a special thank you to Province of Thieves, and shout out to our friend Kind Hearted Thieves, Jamie Ramson.
Yep.
Jamie Ramson over there in England. You're the man. And he's got a new EP coming out, so check that out. It's now streaming and downloading, so you got to go get that too.
Yes, absolutely.
We're the place where the music happens. So we're going to end things tonight with a song from another one of my favorite bands, the Parachute Brigade, Till I See Stars. Good night, everybody, from the Balcony Show. We'll catch you next week.
Peace.
Yeah, what's up?
I've been chasing the wind, running in circles, ending up where I begin. Reaching for truth, running from you. Tightly, get a running start. The river's waiting, don't fear your rushing heart. Hold on tightly, get a running start. The river's waiting, don't fear your rushing heart. Yeah. Hold on tightly, get a running start. The river's waiting, don't fear rushing high. Hold
And that's what's up.